All right. I just want to make sure that we are good here. All right, let me see here. Perfect. All right, guys, how is everybody doing today? Let me just make sure that I have my headphones on right here because there we go, guys. Awesome, guys. So, welcome. It is Thursday, it is live stream day. And guys, I have a very special subject I want to be able to talk with you guys today. And if you notice, today I'm actually on my treadmill, my walking pad. So getting my steps in while I'm actually doing this live. So truly hope that you guys enjoy it. Let me go in here into the comments real quick and making sure if I could tag everyone. I don't think I can because I already did it once today. All right, guys. So let's just move forward. So I hope you guys can hear me. I already checked. You guys are good. So we shouldn't have any technical difficulties today. But today I want to be able to talk to you guys about simplification. And this is something that I see a lot of high ticket coaches actually not do. They don't simplify a lot of the stuff. And there's actually a couple different aspects on how to be able to simplify. But a lot of coaches come up to me and go, hey, I have this offer, I have that offer, I have all of these things that I want to be able to throw at the wall and try to see if it kind of sticks. And I remember like one time when I was working at Cardone, um, we come to realize that we had so many different offers, so many different funnels, so many different kinds of ads that what ended up happening is like we just ended up like basically killing ourselves. Like, and I remember having this conversation with like one of the other marketing managers there, and basically we were just like looking at it, and it's like, man, if we're like really like kind of like overstepping ourselves on one particular ad account, what makes it go to say that we're not doing the exact same thing with all our other ad accounts, right? Because at that point, I think we had about like maybe 5 or 6 different ad accounts that we were all running traffic out of. And basically, what ended up happening was that we were at one point just trying to figure out better solutions for us to be able to drop down our cost per acquisition because it was like kind of like all over the place. Even to the point that we were actually thinking of like, man, maybe if we just do one central funnel, have them kind of go through that. And then from there, we get to qualify them on what kind of bucket that we want to put them into, or even what kind of niche we want to be able to put those people in, and then we're just going to target those people specifically on those kinds of niches. So even though like a lot of coaches out there, especially high ticket coaches, like, hey, let me throw this funnel, let me throw that funnel, let me throw this offer, let me do this lead gen, a lot of the times what ends up happening, it ends up killing yourself at the end of the day because your cost per acquisition is going to go up, you're competing against each other. And it's actually very hard for you to be able to scale. um, I actually had that exact same instance with another client of mine that when I walked into starting with them, it was like, hey, we got this lead gen, we got that lead gen, we got this going on, we got that going on. And what ended up happening at the end of the day with it is that I told them, like, whoa, you guys got to slow down as much as possible because what's going to end up happening, we're going to be overstepping each other. And even though they still vouch it to do that, ultimately came back as like, yeah, we should have just slimmed down like the way you said, because now our cost per book call is going up, our acquisitions going up, certain campaigns aren't working in a way they're supposed to. And when you end up doing that, like it just causes a whole lot more confusion. Offers get mixed. Maybe they're seeing the same kinds of creatives from one offer to the other, and they're not really understanding which one it is. And going back to like, Cardone, one of the things that we had was like we had one offer called 10x marketing program and the other one called 10x income systems. And we were literally using the same kind of creatives. It was the same kind of messaging. And I remember this verbatim because we actually had to do something with bringing down one of these, we had to bring down one of those funnels. And the funny enough thing is, like, before, when we have both those funnels kind of running at the same time, they're both webinars, but when we had both of them running at the same time, we had a very, very hard time on breaking even on that particular funnels, or even on both of them. So we had to shut one of them because we had like tracking issues that we needed to fix and everything like that. And it didn't even come online till maybe 4 or 5 months later. But in the time that funnel was shut down, the other one that was competing against it was actually performing so much better. It was actually profitable. And we all look back at it and it's like, we're like, yeah, man, like basically what's ended up happening here is like, we're just really overstepping each other. So all of that to kind of say is like, yeah, simplicity is key at the end of the day when it comes to your offers, your products, and everything like that. Because if you just keep on throwing so many things out there, it's really going to hurt you at the end of the day when it comes to your actual profitability, your acquisition costs, everything like that. And that even goes to say with like just creatives as well, because I think that a lot of us, even though we really like look up to somebody like Alex Hormozy, but you got to look at where they are in their business when you're trying to use their kinds of strategies. And in this particular instance, like I've had multiple clients like, we need like 50 creatives, even at Cardone, same thing, like launch 45 creatives and let's see which one sticks. At the end of the day, what ends up happening is like 3 to 5 creatives is what ends up being your winner. So you throw all these creatives out there and you spend money on testing it. And a lot of times they don't even get any spend, or they don't get anywhere, or you're just spending and they're not getting conversions. So even when it comes to the creative side of it, like you want to be able to simplify as much as possible, and limiting yourself with the amount of creatives that you actually push out there. Because at the end of the day, what's going to end up happening is that there's going to be particular creatives that are going to be your golden star type of creatives that are going to take you through this year, next year, or for as long as you're running the offer. And I'll tell you, like for Cardone, I launched creatives when I was there. They're still utilizing those creatives. With Brandon Turner, I launched some creatives there. They're still using that those creatives to this day. With Brandon, with Contract Independence, copying creatives, they're still utilizing the same stuff that so at the end of the day, you could test as much as you want, but you don't want to be throwing like spaghetti at the wall, because you want to be able to simplify it to its form, down to its core, and be able to basically make better judgment calls based off of just simplifying your creative strategy. So one is you want to be able to simplify your offers and your products and not have so many competing with each other, like in the instance of like what happened with Cardone's 10x marketing program and 10x income systems. The moment that we shut one of them off, one of the funnels actually became profitable, versus while both of them were running, they were having a hard time just trying to convert or make profit. And with the creative side, you want to be able to be simplistic. It's like, especially with your budget, right? Like if you have a small budget, 5 to 6 creatives is where you're at. Shut those off that are not working whatsoever, and then start adding additional creatives. But don't be throwing like 50 creatives all at one time and expect for magic to happen, because especially with the budget that you have, it's not going to, one, convert, or two, even spend. So you got to be very selective about the creatives that you will launch, and even the particular offers that you do launch. Now, how do I simplify a high ticket coach's offers or products? Well, there's 2 different ways. And usually what I do and like what I recommend for any high ticket coaches is a 2 funnel system, right? So the way that this 2 funnel system will work is all about nurturing. And you want to be able to nurture your audience as much as possible when it comes down to it. And how do I set up a two funnel system in order to get better conversions and to simplify the process, right? So what you're going to do is that you're going to have one funnel that's going to be for your cold audience. That funnel could, depending on the situation, could be a webinar, or it could be a low ticket offer. And what I mean by low ticket offer is usually like a self-liquidating offer, which is like a $27, you know, course or product or whatever the case may be. It could even be a book funnel as well. So you're selling a hardcover book or whatever the case may be, but you want something low ticket. But then after the fact, you're going to have an upsell that's going to be higher ticket, maybe a $97 or $147, something like that. And then you're going to have an additional upsell that's going to range from $497, $397, somewhere around there. And what you're going to want to do with that funnel is basically self-liquidate. So for every dollar that comes in, $1 comes out, right? And you want to be able to use a funnel like that, because I think that that's a great funnel for you to be able to nurture your audience. It's going to get the eyeballs on what it is that you do and get people really, really familiar with yourself. So you want to utilize at least one of those kinds of funnel, whether it be a book funnel or a self-liquidating funnel. And then the other two funnels that I would use, it would be either a webinar or a video sales letter funnel, which would go straight to a book a call. So let me tell you the two strategies that I normally use when it comes to those three funnels or four funnels and how they kind of work with each other, right? So in one particular strategy, and I did this with Cardone, and I did this inside of his real estate niche, was, okay, I'm trying to simplify the journey of the customer in this particular instance, right? We had these two funnels competing against each other at one point, and we realized that the book funnel just didn't convert in the way that we wanted. Even though we had fixed the funnel, we were able to get the funnel into a particular, have a bundle with it, kind of increase the value of it. But at the end of the day, even by itself, it just didn't convert in the way that we kind of hoped. But we saw great opportunity with a webinar. Now, this particular webinar, what it did is that it ran straight to a checkout process. So they would opt into the webinar, they would see the webinar. I think the webinar was maybe about like 3 or 4 hours long. Grant loves going long on his webinars. And then after that, basically, it will go straight to a checkout with a few upsells after it. So what we ended up doing is that we knew that the traffic going to that webinar was the nurturing sequence, because they're literally on a webinar with Grant for about, max 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that, just to watch that particular webinar. So they get to know Grant very, very well in those couple hours. So what we did in this particular instance is that now we were like, okay, so what do we do with this book funnel, right? How do we get it from a 2x ROAS, maybe I think it was even less than 1.5, and how do we get it to the point that it's profitable? So what we did is that now we put our webinar as cold traffic, right, leading people to there. And then anybody that opted into that but did not purchase on the webinar. So I'll give you some numbers here. We would have 400 people a day opt into that webinar, and we will get about 15 sales. So you're looking at about maybe like 1 to 2% conversion rate off of that, right? Which is pretty normal. Now, what do we do with the other 385 people that came through there? So what we'll do is that we'll retarget them with specific ads only to the people that have opted in, and have them go straight into the book funnel. So now, not only did we get the webinar functioning and having it being very, very profitable, we now have the book funnel becoming very, very profitable, because now people really do know Grant. And now when we retarget them with the book funnel, it was a no-brainer, and people bought it because they're like, man, I didn't want that $9.97 thing, but hey, if this book is just as good as how he was on the webinar, I'll pay the $17 for the book, right? So that's one way that I've been able to simplify it. And again, like what I told you guys before, like we're not throwing so many offers up in front to cold audience. We're throwing one offer to cold audience, and then after the fact, what we're doing is that we're retargeting them with a secondary offer that now just gets them to buy a lower barrier entry products. So that's one way that you could simplify your marketing and not only nurture people, but get people to buy much easier and get to know who you are. The second way that you could kind of do this is one with a self-liquidating offer, right? So a self-liquidating offer will be like a $27 mini course, or tools, or whatever the case may be, you'll want to do with a self-liquidating offer first. In the same way as the book funnel, you'll have an upsell, a second upsell, gradually trying to increase the average cart value. But if that low ticket $27 offer is actually good and people do want it, then what ends up happening is that they get nurtured through that. They'll watch the videos in that $27 offer. And then what we'll do after the fact is that we will actually shoot them over to what we call a video sales letter funnel, which would ultimately be for a book a call to a higher ticket product, right? So basically, when you do that, when you switch over to a video sales letter funnel and have them retargeted based off of that, then what ends up happening is that they're very, very much more inclined to book a call with you, because they've already gone through your course, they've already seen your messaging, they've already seen everything like that. So when they book a call, it's going to be much more enticing for them to be able to actually show up to the call, be more inclined to listen to the sales guy, because they've already gone through a nurturing sequence, right? So if you want to be able to go a little bit more low ticket, right, you'll want to do the webinar, which is, $1,000, which I still consider low ticket in comparison to a $5,000 kind of product. You'll go for a low ticket product, and then you'll go for an entry level ticket product. And those don't require a sales team or anything like that. Like, those could all be automated. And once you already have those, you can set that, forget it. You don't have to worry about it, because one, your webinar is actually grabbing the people. You're probably making some sales off the webinar, or off your evergreen webinar, but then you're retargeting the people that didn't purchase to a low ticket thing, and you're kind of win-win on both. But if you have a higher ticket product and you have like a coaching program, or you have some mastermind, or whatever the case may be, the latter is the way to go, which is you'll want to do a self-liquidating offer first, and then you want to be able to retarget them to a video sales letter funnel where they'll ultimately hook up with a sales team and ultimately get into a higher ticket product. It could be $5,000, it could be $10,000, whatever the case may be. But both of these work. It just depends on where you want to be able to have your money spent, and what kind of products you have, or what kind of services that you have. Because at the end of the day, it depends on the coach and which way they want to go, whether they want to go completely automated, they don't want to worry about like high ticket stuff, they would just want to be able to get people in, people get to know them. That's great. I mean, once afterwards, if they're ready in your cycle, you could escalate them to a higher ticket thing. That's great. But if you do want to go for higher tickets, a higher ticket offer, then what you want to do is that you want to be able to go and start with a self-liquidating offer first, get people to pay with their wallets, and then you'll have them retargeted and start moving them towards a video sales letter funnel, so that you could start getting them onto a book a call with your sales team and sell them a $5,000 to $10,000 coaching program, or a mastermind, or whatever it is that you want that to be, right? So at the end of the day, simplifying is like the way to go. And I see a whole lot of coaches making the mistake, in the sense of that they try to throw so many things out there that they want things to really, really stick. And what ends up happening, they're wondering like, okay, well, why isn't this offer working? Why aren't all these offers working? Why is my cost per acquisition going up? And it's just because they're just not thinking simple. And I think simple is the way to go when it comes to, just being able to scale your business, scale your company, scale your products. At the end of the day, if you have so many different things going on, then you're going to end up shooting yourself in the foot, and it's going to be much harder for you to figure out what's really working and what's not. So simplification is key, and you don't want to be able to have so many different offers just out there and basically trying to see what works, see what offer works. At the end of the day, focus on one offer and be laser focused on that, and then have a secondary funnel, right? So even though we're simplifying as much as possible, we're trying to simplify how many people from cold audience actually see your offer, right? Because I see coaches and I'm like, hey, I seen this offer, I see that offer, like a low ticket thing and a webinar and a video sales letter funnel, and they're throwing all these to cold traffic like crazy. When you simplify and you shoot over to cold traffic one offer, and then in the back end, you have a secondary offer after they've already engaged with your first offer, then that's where you guys are going to start winning when it comes to, scaling your business, scaling your offer, and making more money with what it is that you got going on. So again, guys, simplification is key. That's where you guys want to be heading to. Don't overcomplicate not only your offers, but your creatives, and utilize a two-funnel system for you guys to be able to get the most leverage that you can off of your offers and off of your products at the end of the day. So again, with the two-funnel system, you're going to have, there's two ways of doing it. These are the two ways that I've done it, and they've worked like every single time that I've done it. Is that one, if you don't have a high ticket thing, you want to be able to get a webinar that sells a basically low mid ticket, which is $1,000 kind of product or course, and then you'll retarget them with a book funnel or a self-liquidating offer, and you'll end up being able to scale both of those, because one, you have your cold traffic going to the webinar, and then you have your warm traffic going to your self-liquidating offer or your book funnel. And then the other way, if you have a higher ticket, if you have a coaching program, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, whatever the case may be, then you want to utilize it in a different way, which one, you'll do a self-liquidating offer up in front, get them to buy very, very low with their wallets with, something cheap, and then retarget them into a video sales letter funnel that now you could sell them on a higher ticket thing, that now is going to be a much easier barrier entry for the prospect. It's going to bring down your cost per acquisition for your cost per book call, and you're going to get much better quality people coming into your funnel, into your sales team, your sales calls, and everything like that, that your sales team's actually going to be very, very happy at the end of the day. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you guys been able to stick around. And I actually forgot to mention this at the beginning, but if you guys are here live, then hashtag live. If you guys are here on the replay, then hashtag replay. So I kind of know where you guys are coming from. And if you guys are any interest in working with me or my team to try to help you out and fixing your current offers with what you got going on with your ads and your funnels, and trying to figure out how you'll be able to scale it much better, much easier, much more effectively, then let me know. Put down in the comments, simplify, and we'll jump on a call and talk it out and see what's kind of going on inside of your business right now, and see how we can help you be able to scale your current offers with your current funnels and ads and systems, so that you could leverage that better in order for you to get to the next level in your business, so that you can make more money. All right, guys, with that said, love you all. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you guys next week.